I will tell you that. Differently in a tent. How many of you loves? Okay, I know all of you loves to camp, right? That's why you are here. But if I may ask, do you love living in a tent? As long as there's water, right?
Yeah.
You know water has. So living in a tent. Do you know that the Bible, the one thing about great, it uses a lot of metaphors that explain. And one of the metaphors that describes what life is, how are we going to live our lives, is that it uses the metaphor of a tent or even camping. And life is like living in a tent. In fact, 4 verse 2 to 3, and this is our main verse for the year. You know, as we opened our 10th year, and somehow the Lord just spoke to my heart in this passage as a body of believers. How are we going? The prophet Isaiah used the metaphor of a tent, where he said, enlarge the place of your tent, he said. And during those days, places to places, and every one of them lives in a tent. And he describes it, enlarge the place of your tent, curtains wide. Do not hold back. Lengthen your cords. Strengthen your stakes, especially when it's windy, right? How many of you here, you're kind of, mine almost did. But good thing I put, he said, lengthen your cords, strengthen your stakes. Well, you will spread out to the right and to the left. Your descendants will possess nations and settle in their desolate cities. But before we could live in some structured, built, permanent places, and life is like camping. And also in 2 Corinthians 5:1 to 4, also Apostle Paul said about the challenges, the persecutions of living lives in this world, and he was encouraging the believers to keep on going. And he said in chapter 5, verse 1 to 4, for we know that if the earthly tent that we live in is destroyed. He was talking about we are living in this tent. Do you know that you're still living in a tent? Max, do you know? Max? Yeah. Love your tent? Cool, yeah. We have a building from God instead of our heavenly dwelling. Because when we are clothed, we will not be found naked. For a while, he said, for a while, we are burdened. How many of you are grown last week on your tent? Maybe they're not groaning, they're, what do you call that? Yeah, in our tent or in our army, we have different pitches of groan. So it's not music in the ears. It's an orchestra.